This is the Pico console, the most innovative electronics build I have ever made, and I have done it for a computer science project. Let's go into a bit more depth to talk about why I chose the Raspberry Pi Pico over a different microprocessor. So, I chose the Raspberry Pi Pico because it is simple and cheap. It allows me to use MicroPython, which makes it a lot simpler for me over C. It also has a lot of these different GPIO pins that are more powerful than the ones found on the Arduino. And I also just had a lot of them laying around. For example, this is the keyboard that I use. It is not finished, it is still a work in progress. As you can see, it doesn't even have a case, but I made this myself. I designed the whole PCB. And look what's up there, the RP2040. Does that look familiar to this thing on the back? So it is very versatile in what it is able to do, and it's supported by so many things. It is supported by less things than the Arduino, but it is more versatile in the ways it's able to communicate, as opposed to an Arduino. It also has USB-C, which is a big plus for me, as I don't want to deal with any other non-USB-C wires. Alright, let's go through the game. And as you can see at the end, it tells you the time that you got, which in this case was just over 14 seconds. Returning back to my code editor, you can see that the original time was 60.9, but now because that JSON editing that was built into the game, the time has now been docked to the proper time. So let's have a little look at this game. So it makes sound as you move past the finish line, and you go all the way around, hitting every single point. And it is kind of slow of a game, but then once you finish, it tells you the amount of time that you finished in. 16.36 seconds. That buzzer is a bit loud. I don't know if you guys hear it as loud as me, but then I just spin this to make it quieter. So it's about there, so that there's still some sound. Now when I hit it, it's much quieter. That's a pretty cool feature about it. I have a new pause menu, which lets me scroll through these options with the other options showing on top and on bottom. Let's see, I want to turn on the FPS counter. I click this, the screen inverts for a second to show you that it's clicked, and then you can choose all the different stuff. I won't explain everything here because it's not really that important. There's some pretty cool coding that goes into it. So now when I boot it back up, you'll see there's an FPS counter, 22 FPS. So I have implemented sprinting in this game, where you hold B, make some sounds, it has some sprint particles, and you move at 2x speed. So that is very, very cool. Isn't that interesting? And then you move quite fast, and now you can go to the end, just like that. I finished that in 1 minute, basically. If I go backwards in this, I made it so that there is a checkpoint stopping thing, so that you are not able to do this. Takes a second, but go back around and you hit it. You'll see that nothing really registered. I also have this thing where I'm able to clip through walls. This is for debugging, and it is somewhat interesting, where you can just like go around, but I made sure for it not to count anything. So, screen is a bit flashy right now. Swapped out the switch so that it'll work better. That switch was breaking a whole lot. So, that is just what is visually there, but there's a lot of other stuff that I implemented that I want to show off. So, this is a school project. What makes this project, cool, right? So, this project shows my ability to put something in a small space. And that isn't, a main criteria, but it's pretty cool that I was able to do that. It also talks about interfacing, with the Arduino and, basically microcontroller checkpoint. Interfacing with things is kind of a big part of it. That is the main thing, where people will just put stuff together, hardware, and then just run code that was given to them. I did not run code that was given to me. I had to make all the code on this device, apart from the code for the screen. So I actually handcrafted all the code, which I'm really happy about. I also interfaced with a lot of devices. This right here, potentiometer. I interface with this for sound. This right here, piezo buzzer. This right here, screen. This right here, 7 buttons, a battery. All of these things come together to make one thing. And it's for most people, not like that, where they'll just do, oh, well, I'm gonna have this one sensor, test it, ooh, look, it works, it did this, it did that. But I was able to put it all together to one thing with, you know, it all working together. And it's quite important that I was able to do that. So let's talk about improvements that I want to do. I want to use my JSON to store more. I want to store more stuff with that JSON. I want to have a save function and a load function. And I will add that in my free time, but sadly not for this checkpoint. No more school work on this. I also want to add some stuff with just cleaning up the UI. I want to fix the pause menu that crashes every so often. You'll see that it crashed a few times in the video. And I also want to add some stuff to that pause menu because it's not done. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with how far this has come. And there's more to do, but it's pretty fun. Thanks for watching.